Spurs in our hearts. We got that fire. Champs in the making. Tottenham's choir. Remember the legends, the kings and the fights. Build it to push those glory nights.
Hello everybody and welcome to the very latest CADS episode. Here on the podcast tonight I have four fine gentlemen and we're here to talk about yesterday's Arsenal match. Again, well, it's one of those ones it may not be fun, but it needs doing. It needs doing. So we're here. We're all going to bite the bullet for your oral enjoyment. That's oral with an AU, everybody. So here we go. Let's go round my screen. We're going to go clockwise, starting with David. Hello, David.
Hello there.
Moving round. Hello, Charlie.
Hello.
Austin, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Okay, and now we're going to Ashley for the weather check in LA.
Gorgeous out here. I don't know what it's like up in Big Bear where Charlie is.
Get him off, Stu. The weather's shit here.
It's not great here, either, I'll be honest.
Oh, it's all right here.
Yeah, it's not
You actually got two in Paris and two in LA.
Yeah.
And then we got a Yorkshire fellow thrown in.
Yeah, nobody in London tonight. One of those days.
All right.
We need to get John back on sometime soon, I think, because he's our connection to London. But hey, we've done enough talking about anything that isn't the match, so let's talk about the match.
No, I think stick
Do
with
we
it.
have to?
That's much better, Stu.
Oh dear, it's one of those, wasn't it? It was one of those where there is stuff to complain about, there is stuff to be grumpy about, stuff to get the hump, as somebody here would say, and but potentially also some green shoots. Maybe they didn't have it all their own way. But let's quickly go through. Should the first goal have should our first goal have stood?
Yes.
No fucking
Van de Ven.
idea. No idea at all.
No idea.
I just, I read one thing and I think, oh, that's an outrage. It should have stood. And then I read another thing and go, of course it shouldn't have stood. So I don't know. I should be sort of trusting the referees to make the right decision, but I don't. So there
I'm
you go.
holding back in
thought
the inner
VAR
scoff with the
was
words
looking
trusting the
for
referees
clear,
right now.
Clear and obvious mistakes, and that wasn't a clear and obvious mistake. So it should have been a goal.
Charlie's shaking his head. I'm not sure what that means.
Hey, by the way, shouldn't we have started off with what do you think about the game generally?
No, I think we were all disgusted with the result, so I don't think we want to do that.
Yeah, I thought it was a good game, though. I thought we were going to get thumped and we didn't.
There was a lot of people talking about us getting thumped.
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get. I thought I'd be sitting here going, but I'm not really. I'm.
Do you know the only reason why I didn't think we'd get thumped is because I thought we'd get thumped. It's one of those things, like, it's one of those reverse psychology things where you think you're going to get thumped, and so therefore you don't get thumped. You actually put in a reasonable showing and it doesn't look as bad as it could have been.
Stop it, Stu. You're not as intelligent as you think you are.
This is a little
You're not making any sense at all.
This is sounding a little Spursy.
Yeah.
Well,
Kick off. I think we have to flag the Spursy thing and defeat it at a roots level whenever we see it like a weed.
I think Stuart's probably been drinking at the restaurant at the end of the universe. And Douglas Adams was with him all evening.
I wish. I was so tempted to have a drink yesterday. I am not a big drinker, but I was so tempted to get
The
up.
worst result about yesterday, can I just say, was the fan reaction to Ange Postecoglou. Again, we as fans, we're all a little dope sick when it comes to playing good football, Spurs and everything like that. Any fan really just sort of is there for the weekend and they're there for the dopamine release of getting the win. I feel like because the Arsenal match was so built up and because it's such a huge fixture and because of how it all went down and some of the mistakes that happened, the refereeing things, I feel like everybody's so dope sick and they just wanted to lash out on somebody. And for some reason, it landed on Postecoglou, and I could go on for an hour about why that's just completely ridiculous. And
it is ridiculous.
Almost like self-defeating as a Spurs fan. It winds me so hard up. I think it's got to be eradicated.
Yeah, no, I completely
Charlie,
agree
I
with that.
understand it because I'm the oldest man here. So I remember when we won the cup the year after the double. I wasn't a fan the year of the double, but I was a fan the year of the cup. And I've watched Spurs and progressively through the 60s, 70s and 80s and 90s, they were great. But then after we won the cup in '91, we've gone down and down and down. And most of you guys are quite a bit younger than me, with the exception of Ashley, I think. I don't know how old David is.
Not that much younger than you, mate.
But most of the current fans are used to Spurs being rubbish. And I've got used to Spurs going from being fantastic, playing entertaining football, winning trophies, which we did throughout the period up till the sort of mid-'80s, I guess. And so I've become philosophic about us not being good. But I've also watched the progression we've had under Daniel Levy, where we've developed the training centre, we've developed the stadium. We've actually spent an awful lot of money in the last 2 years, 3 years on players. And so I'm feeling optimistic. So I'm taking the negative results as negative results, but I'm thinking it's part of the building blocks for the future, because I think that in the next 2 to 3 years, we are going to be a very competitive team again.
And I just want to say that I thought we were miles better against Arsenal than we've been for the last 5 months, like with a couple of exceptions. But since the Chelsea match, I think we've been pretty poor, and I've been, quite down on the play that we've been producing since that match. And there's been all sorts of reasons, but there's also we just haven't been good enough going forwards. Yesterday against Arsenal, I thought we were great. There was stuff that went wrong. Some of it we can't do anything about. Some of it we can do something about. And I just hope that, I'm definitely not Ange out by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not pissed off with him or anything. I think there's 2 things that Ange could do that could really improve things. And one is going into being a whining bastard mode. It's a disgrace, as Arteta said after one match, and suddenly after that they're getting all the decisions for them. Or the game should be played again, as Klopp said, and suddenly all the decisions go for Liverpool. Ange can't, I love the guy, I love his attitude and everything, but he needs to come out and say the refereeing isn't good enough, and I think there's an agenda against Spurs. I hate that sort of thing, but it needs to be done. And his thing saying, I don't even watch goals anymore, it's, sort of just shrugging it off. I would really like him to have a go at the refs.
David, to his credit, he doesn't do that, and he picks his words really carefully, because he knows that he is still accountable for that result. He knows that he shouldn't have to rely on good refereeing results in order to win. Right. And right now there is a massive elephant in the room that he cannot say as a coach, which is, I don't have the players that I need to play the ball, the Ange ball that we had at the start of the season when the stakes were high and we were out to prove ourselves. The standard has slipped, and the only person playing Ange ball right now is Romero. He's the only one breaking the line with his passes. And ultimately, that's why Ange picked him out yesterday in an interview and said, whatever Romero's got in him, we need to get in a few others, because Ange it's just seeping out his pores right now. And he's saying, I need 2 or 3 transfer windows to even get the right players involved. And I want to open up this forum just to let's be really surgical about this and say which players aren't up to this, because it shouldn't come down to Ange having to protect them. But coaches never, ever, a good coach never, ever blames his players, and he's taking the brunt of everything right now.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, I'm not Ange out at all, but there's little things that could be done with the means that he has at his disposal that he could have been doing for a while and that he could be doing now, which is putting the pressure back on the referees. I'm sorry, oh God, that stupid thumbs up thing.
Someone agrees with you, mate.
Yeah, me. No, put the pressure back on the referees, because there's small margins, and that's 3, 4, 5 points a season. That's the difference between 5th place and 4th place. So that's one thing. But he can't do anything about referees being shit, But he can put pressure on them. The other thing is set pieces, please. Please. You can't give 2 goals to Arsenal. You can't. But I agree with everything else you said, Charlie. But I just think there's, you can always say, let's wait another transfer window or another one or another one or another one. But like tomorrow never comes. Like today, there's things he could do, and that's my only negative about the game. I loved watching us yesterday. as long as it wasn't a corner. As long as it wasn't a corner.
Right. Can I make one point about? By the way, Charlie, we should do that today about which what you say be like categorical. Say who should go or who should leave right now.
I'm setting it up now because I know you guys are going to want to talk about it, so we'll do it.
Yeah. So yesterday, speaking of Romero, and that's strange for Ange to call out a guy in a good way because he likes to always emphasize the team. Romero had 3 opportunities to score off set pieces. I think they were 3 headers. So we could also say
one was a free kick.
Arsenal, so 3 set pieces. Arsenal also weren't that great on set pieces. So when you compare the 2 of us, they scored and we had great opportunities and we didn't score. So I'm just sort of mitigating about the fact, we don't like them. They're not that great, but other teams do it as well. That's just a point I noticed yesterday.
With the flow of that game there, Ashley, we went 3-0 down. It's a North London derby. The eyes of the world are looking in on that game. Every single, millions and hundreds of millions of people watching that game. A crowd getting really, really shirty, and the players knowing on some level they're culpable. They are complicit in what's going on. Their stakes as players raise naturally because they don't want to get a thumping. And those stakes, my argument is those stakes should not have to be generated within a match. They should be generated before the match. And we should be playing that football from the off. And the fact that Romero got 4 chances and put one of them away is as much, indicative of, him as a player as much as it is, our squad as a whole, not taking the game by the scruff of the neck or, their position in the club.
Solly, would you make him captain?
I would, and I'd also be very tempted to put him as a holding midfield player as
Number
well.
6. I totally agree.
I don't think Dragusin is going to sit on the bench. I think he's a good enough player to be playing every game. And, just some players. I mean, you put Højbjerg in there yesterday, and I'll tell you right now, Romero can pick a better pass than Højbjerg.
Absolutely.
Just in that game, I'm not saying it's forever, but like you say, if he wants to shift things up, people are quite keen on him having a plan B. That for me would look like a good plan B, to be honest.
I have to say, I thought Romero's finish yesterday was absolutely sublime. He took that like a striker.
Yeah, he really was fantastic. And do you know what? His first season, I was not very keen on QT Romero. I remember my son. It was his first shirt that he bought was the Romero shirt, and I went off at him because, first season, it always seemed like for about a month before Argentina played, Romero disappeared, was unavailable, was injured, and things like that. I don't know. I really doubted his commitment to the club. Yesterday, I mean, I've been feeling it for a while, but yesterday, that's all gone. He was absolutely playing for the shirt. I absolutely loved him yesterday. And Andrew's absolutely right. If you put a bit of Romero in all the players, and I don't mean that in a sexual way, although, if that works, I don't care, then fantastic, because he was dynamite. He really was.
Okay, let's get it out of the way now. Is there anybody here at all that wouldn't give man of the match to Romero yesterday?
No.
Easily, right? I mean, he was easily
man of the match. Yeah.
Close second.
I'll
second
add
is
one
Decky.
caveat. I thought Mickey van der Ven was also excellent. He made 2 or 3 or 4 really good challenges chasing back.
Yeah.
And I actually thought he was understated, but very good as well.
He's much better when he has his studs on.
He stays on his feet, yes.
Which he did against Newcastle.
Oh yeah, good point.
Okay, so let's go through. I mean, for me, let's talk about defensive set pieces. We have been pushed and pushed and pushed and punished so many times at corners now. It's getting monotonous, and something does need to be done. I understand what Postecoglou is saying. It's not the only thing that needs to be looked at, but it is one thing that needs to be looked at, and it will make a hell of a difference, because 2 out of the 3 goals we gave up yesterday were soft, and frankly, we shouldn't be giving that away. We were marking zonally, and they just overloaded an area where the ball was going, while our players stood absolutely stock still. There's no wonder they got 2 goals and we didn't. It was, for me, it was really, really poor organisation, and that for me has been the one major negative for Ange's tenure at the club so far.
I think I'll take my hat off to Arsenal for their set plays, because the way they played them, they've obviously trained. They all start at the back, they rush forward, and I've not seen that from a team before.
Well, Man City kicked that off, Austin. Do you remember when that one goal against Man City that we conceded against them, where they found out Vicario, they figured out how to compromise him at corner. Since then, every team's done it.
Yeah. In my book, that's a foul. Yeah, if they've got a player just concentrating on pushing the goalkeeper without any intention of going for the ball, that's a foul.
But undoing his gloves as well. Undoing his gloves. Did you see
I was going to mention that. Ben White clipping his gloves.
This is the way it's going now. And Dermot Gallagher was on Sky Sports today, and he said that's not a foul. That's just part of the game. Like, get on with it. Vicario looks.
It is a foul. Dermot Gallagher is part of the institution.
It wasn't given as a foul, Austin. It wasn't given as a foul, so it wasn't a foul. Unfortunately, we can't sort of contribute to our own bad luck by not mitigating against that rubbish.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. And if I were running the team, I would have Pierre-Emile Højbjerg standing in front of the keeper protecting him, because you need one of the hard men in the team to protect him. I still think it's a foul what happens, but to deal with it, I would have either Ramiro or Højbjerg or one of the more stalwart players in the team right in front of the goalkeeper, giving him protection from anyone coming to do the pushing bit.
Austin, realistically, it doesn't matter whether it's a foul or not. The referee has to give it. And the referee was not giving us a lot yesterday. I mean, Ben Davies got kicked right up the jacksie in the box, and the referee was looking, Michael Oliver was looking right at it, and he went, no, that's absolutely fine. And he had to be called back by VAR. I don't know how any referee, serious referee, could look at that and go, oh yeah, that wasn't a foul. It was ridiculous.
You know, there's rumors that he refused to go and look at the monitor for the Kulusevski penalty.
But there were two calls of Kulusevski, wasn't there? There was the one where his leg got a little bit clipped.
Minute.
Sorry?
50th minute. It was a penalty.
Yeah.
The second one wasn't. The first one was a tap tackle, which is a foul.
Yeah.
It's a straight foul. And the fact that Dermot Gallagher again said, well, he kicks himself in the back of the leg, is like, have you ever played sport in your life?
That's just bullshit. Yeah.
It's you can be running at full speed. You could tap Mickey van der Ven's foot at full speed and he would fall flat on his face. Tap it. Yeah. You know.
But I thought the second one was a penalty as well. Because I saw it at the time and thought, oh, that looks a bit penalty-ish. And then I on the, what is it? I think it's on the Spurs app. I could watch the match again. I didn't watch the whole match again. I'm not that stupid. But I went and found the spot, and I thought, well, maybe by the time he got taken out, the ball had gone too far off, and so that's why I didn't. No, he was in control of the ball. He gets sandwiched by the players, and his feet are taken out.
Mm-hmm. I think the retreating player kicked it, David. I think the retreating player got his foot in there. May have been what saved them. Quickly on the remember under Conte they brought in the set piece coach, and not only did we start defending better, we started also scoring more goals from set pieces. Like, if this is our weakness, they will address it and they'll make it our strength. But I think that when you watch Ange Postecoglou in these post-match conferences, he's like, listen, if the corners and our issues from set pieces were our biggest issue, then I would be putting every single minute of my day into it. Clearly, Ange thinks there's a much bigger problem than the defensive work. That's exactly what he said in his post-match yesterday. So his biggest problem is not that, which conceded us 2 goals yesterday. It's something else. Like, he is brewing, you can see, about some other aspect of our play that is obviously way bigger than the fact that we're conceding from corners, which he probably thinks that, well, I don't know. I don't want to go into that, but what do you think that might be? What is the biggest issue?
What do you think? Since you brought it up, what do you think?
I think I said it at the start. I don't think the players are at the start of the season, first 10 games. We were all looking forward to Ange Ball every single game. Like, we know what Ange Ball looks like. it's dropped off since the Chelsea game and further into those, into the new year. And I think our position since the new year is 10th in the league. So, something's gone wrong, and we've had a largely full stock of players uninjured. Something isn't right there, and I'm telling you, like that grumpy Ange Postecoglou, he is just holding back. And I think it seeped out yesterday with the Romero comment. He's just holding back on a few players who I'm going to say it right now. I don't think Maddison is good enough to play for us.
There's small rumours that Maddison's playing with an injury that needs an operation, which would explain why he's been so poor.
This is the thing he had at Leicester. Maddison was always injured. I mean, he'd played maybe 5 or 6 games a season fully fit, but he spends so much of the season where he's carrying an injury. He's not fully fit, and when he's not fully fit, he's not completely on his game, and we need him. But that does not excuse collapsing like a sack of spuds in the penalty area, trying to dive and take win a penalty. That was awful. I mean, we can complain about the penalties that weren't given, but when someone's trying to cheat and dive, it doesn't look good on us either. I didn't enjoy that.
Well, I also think that's one of the reasons why we lost the ball and it went back up for the goal.
Yeah.
Apart from anything, that dive was bloody stupid because it gave up possession. It cost us a goal.
Do you know what I think the problem is? And I think Ange probably he's alluded to it as well. It's focus. It's mental strength in the side. We just don't have that level of focus. We have players that switch off in games at certain points.
Like who?
Like Maddison, like Højbjerg, like Ben Davis. We have players that switch off.
Yves Bissouma.
Yves Bissouma is probably one of the worst ones, frankly. And we need to have players that are going to be on it for 96, 97 or more minutes. And at the moment, we don't have that because we've got players who are switching off and at big points in the game, certainly at times where we almost got a penalty or we've almost just scored, and they go down the other end and they are focused and they are ready and they were on it and they did get the goals for it. I think that's going to take a couple more transfer windows. Of course you can.
Yesterday, if you look at the match as a whole, we scored an equaliser with Van der Ven that I think should have stood because it came off an Arsenal player.
Two Arsenal players.
Or 2 Arsenal players, yep, absolutely. We didn't get that. We didn't get the penalty. The minute we didn't get the penalty, they went up the field and scored. The third goal that they scored, I think, was a foul on our goalkeeper because he was pushed by White. I think it was, and who then did the clever thing and moved away so it wasn't seen. We actually had more possession than they did. We actually had more chances than they did. And yes, things fell their way, but as a whole, I didn't feel upset by that performance by Spurs. I thought we dominated a large part of the game. Yes, we're a bit negative in terms of how we pass in front of their back line because it's almost like we're dead. And we don't shoot enough from outside the box. But in general terms, I thought that was a good performance.
Austin, we were 3-0 down after 20 minutes. These guys suddenly saw 8-0 in the back of their heads in the North London derby at home. Absolutely, whatever's going on with this team, they were shook into some kind of reality. You could see just the dazedness of what happened after that third goal. And them all just looking around going, are we going to go down 6 or 7 at this point? And if that doesn't kick your ass, it's testament to their character. At least they picked themselves up and got going. I think that's the biggest thing to come from them. But again, I'll say it again. Why weren't we playing like that at the start of the game when we know we can do?
I actually think we were unlucky in the first part of the game, Charlie, because we did score the goal. We should have had a penalty, and I think the fate conspired against us. I don't normally, if we play shit, I'll normally say we played shit and we weren't good. But I actually thought yesterday we were unlucky to be 3-0 down at half-time.
But we did do our usual, right? We played well up until they scored, and at the point that they scored, we fell apart.
Yeah,
it's happened before.
That's a recurring thing. Yeah,
it's happened against Newcastle. right? It happened against West Ham. It's now happened against Arsenal as well, and multiple other times this season. When they score,
were dire against
we
Newcastle.
fall apart.
I don't think we were dire yesterday.
No, we weren't. At the end of the day, we gave a reasonable account of ourselves. It was not as bad as it could have been, but frankly, that first half, it could have been worse, and it took an almighty recovery to get to 3-2.
And Arsenal might have laid off as well. But
I think nine players played well. A couple of players played out of their socks yesterday.
Romero and who?
I thought Romero. I thought Decky was absolutely fantastic yesterday. To be honest, I thought he really put a shift in. He was really creative. Gave them all sorts of trouble.
The other 9.
Vicario.
Well, no, I'll just say the 2 that I thought. So those were the 2 standouts for me, Decky and Romero. You're right.
Big game players then. Big game players then.
Yeah, true.
Right.
Yeah, they've got the mentality. Yeah.
Right.
I think Van der Ven was pretty good too. Yeah, understated, but I think most of the others were fine. I thought Sonny again, not fine at all. I think he should be dropped.
Should be.
And
he was better when he went left. When Richarlison came on,
true.
he improved.
True.
Much better.
So true, Stu.
Yeah.
But was that because Richarlison came on and gave us a different focal point?
And Maddison is the other one.
So. I don't think it is. I think that people are more likely to give Sonny the ball on the left, and he's much better at taking the ball into the penalty area and creating chances that way.
Yeah. So yeah, my two bad ones are Maddison and Son, just not good enough at all.
Absolutely. No, Charlie made a point. I think I said this on Catch yesterday. Okay, he's been pants since he's come back from his injury. I said, okay, maybe not pants, but maybe not great. But you know what? He has kind of been pants since he came back.
Yeah,
and he's such a key person. He has been pants, right, Dave? He's a key person in that central midfield. And if he's not inspiring like Odegaard is or De Bruyne is, then we don't have,
Yeah, if you compare Maddison to Odegaard, it's just day and night. It's just day and night. He didn't.
But at the start of the season, Maddison was the better player of the two. And Maddison was playing the kind of balls that we were admiring from Odegaard yesterday.
How bad must Gio Celso be behind closed doors?
Yeah.
Like what don't we know about him? Is he just like
because actually I saw some unbelievable rumor today that
I saw the same rumor
that we're going to be offering him a new contract.
I just don't understand. I think he loves being at the club because it's like a party for him. I know he's the barbecue king.
Oh, that's the barbecue king, is he?
He's the barbecue king. Yeah, him and Romero are buddies. Listen, I think this speaks to a lot. I heard someone say this about Chelsea yesterday: 8-year contracts and stuff. There is a cushiness at Spurs that I've noticed since we've had the stadium and the training ground built. Nice canteens, lovely boot rooms. All these lovely things they do on videos and stuff, and it's lovely, and they've obviously got a lovely thing going there. But I don't see the grit implemented from a and this might just come from like cold locker rooms and just being in that position of being discomforted as a player and having to like pull your socks up and get out there. But it's a cushy life at Spurs. It's like a nice comfy couch. If you've got a nice long contract, like where's the incentive to absolutely just to bust your balls and to, for me, that incentive comes when you're 3-0 down at home to Arsenal and you're looking at 7 or 8. That's when you suddenly start to find your character. And I think Ange, again, I'm going to go back to it again. I think Ange is looking at this and he's looking at his last 5 games we've got. We've got Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool. He's looking at these players and he's going, that Arsenal thing was a wake up to go, you guys know that your name's up on the wall and that you may not be here next season. I just don't think he's the sort of guy to pull any punches there.
So who would you dump from the squad?
We're gonna go through the entire squad. We are going to go through the entire squad before the end of this video, and we will say, right, being ultra harsh, who do you keep, who do you get rid of? Was there anyone yesterday, because I've got a name in my head, was there anyone yesterday that came in and actually put in a good performance and kind of played themselves back into the team? Anyone for
Johnson.
you? Johnson?
Brennan Johnson. I thought he took the ball on, he ran at them. He wasn't totally successful, but he was very, very positive in the way he came on.
Super sub, Austin. He's a super sub.
Yeah, I agree with him.
He's a much
thinking
better
maybe at this point.
Yeah. And the other guy, Sarr. Didn't Sarr make an impression?
That's my guy, Sarr. I think Sarr needs to be starting. I think Sarr needs to be on number 6.
I like Sarr a lot, but I didn't think he was all that when he came on.
When he came on, our midfield suddenly stiffened up and looked a lot more organised.
It was.
So I thought he made a major difference.
He was all over the pitch, Sarr, to be fair.
So for me, he really played himself in.
In terms of defence, Stu, I just think we need backup for our wing backs. Just a little bit of competition. I mean, Ben Davies is wonderful stalwart, great, but like who's the right back? Obviously, he's not willing to play Royale for whatever reason, because he can play on the left as well. So I think both those guys are numbered. So I think from the defensive standpoint, we'll be looking at a left and a right. And Sessegnon's gone, right?
Davies was at fault for the Saka goal. And he let him come in on his left, and he shouldn't have let him come in on his left. He
stayed too central. All right, if earlier in the season, when Davies came in, that would have been perfect positioning because he was taking Van de Ven's kind of position. He was running back as a centre-back, not running back as a full-back. He didn't go wide. He didn't track his man, and that's what he needed to do. And then he got caught in the Van de Ven slippy fall-over position, and unfortunately they got their goal. But okay, right, the time has come. Let's go through the entire squad, and everyone needs to be absolutely ultra critical. You need to say, right, is this someone who is going to feature in a side that can actually compete for the title? Let's go from the top. Guglielmo Vicario.
Starting to have my doubts.
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you, David, on that.
Yeah, he's a fantastic shot stopper. Does full of character, but you can't have someone that's that weak on corners. Sorry.
I think he's sold short by the tactics, so I don't agree with that, but that's another story.
Okay, but like I said, I'm starting to have my doubts. If he can bulk up and start, dominating his 6-yard box, then fine, keep him because he's great. But this isn't this like the last 5 months of corners and him getting like bullied. It's not good enough.
Imagine if Romero was in goal. I mean,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
I'm not sure how good he is at jumping.
I'm just like Ben White. If he touched his glove, he would look at him and look at him. And
he'd get sent off.
Ben White would walk up. Ben White would be wearing brown shorts.
For me,
Ben Brown.
I think Vicario could be in a title-winning side, but I think we need to tailor our tactics to protect him in certain positions. Okay, moving on. Oh, Ashley,
he's the goalkeeper.
Ashley, you've got to talk. Ash, when you're given an opportunity, you've got to talk. Ash, what do you say? What do you think? Vicario, yes or no?
It'd be good to have some competition there. Yes, I agree with if we can toughen him up and he gets more acclimatized to the Premier League and the way that we play, the Premier League plays. Yeah, but I mean, we really don't have any competition for him. Some backup competition would be great.
Okay, moving on. Probably an easy one. Fraser Forster, 1 year left on his contract. He's currently 36 years old.
Yeah, what Ash said.
You can't have a Ramsdale rare situation at Spurs. You got to get the right guy in, and that's it. That's just been one of their biggest issues this year.
All right, Brandon Austin, currently 25 years old. I think you could probably count his Spurs appearances on fingers of one hand with a couple of fingers chopped off. His contract, he's out of contract in the summer. He's going to go, right?
Who's this?
Brandon Austin.
Gotcha.
Right, you've no idea who he is.
I've actually seen him a few times playing for the reserves, and he's actually very good. But
he's solid
I
enough
don't know how he would be in
not great,
the first team.
Alfie Whiteman got another year on his contract. Also 25 years old.
No idea.
Homegrown, English.
No idea. Don't know anything about him. Apparently he's a really good DJ.
I was going to say, these backup goalkeepers must be like an astronaut that never goes to space. Training as an astronaut that never getting to go to space.
Okay, probably two of the easiest ones we're going to have now. Christian Romero, yes. Yes. Right, okay. Mickey van de Ven, yes.
No. Hold on. I'm Christian Romero. Hold on.
Shut up, Ash.
Back to what Charlie said, and I said that, and I was thinking the same thing. Make him captain and try him out as number 6. when peak Pochettino's years,
David's going to flip his lid. He's going to go.
I don't agree with the 6.
He used the centre back as number 6.
He's the only one who can pass, and he's wasted in that position sometimes.
He's our best defender. Let's play our best player in his best position.
Get
someone in central midfield that can do the
job.
Dave,
my thought is that you didn't hear me out. When we peaked Pochettino years, when we actually had the best defense in the whole Premier League, we actually had 2, Vertonghen and Toby.
Alderweireld.
Dyer was dropping back to make it a 3, and essentially we had 3 centre backs there. So saying what Charlie was saying, I actually see Dragusin doesn't want to. He wants to play Dragusin, Van de Ven, and Hayden playing number 6, but also dropping back. We would have to change Ange's tactics, but that's what I'd like to see, and make him captain.
For crying out loud, Romero is drifting into number 9 positions like routinely now.
Yeah.
He is wandering up the field. He was pressing like Maddison should have been pressing.
He was amazing
Goal
in the press. Yeah, fantastic.
So do we agree we all make him captain?
Definitely make him captain.
When Son goes, I'm okay with it.
Especially because when we get to Son, I'll be saying that we should sell him.
Okay, Radu Dragusin.
Yeah, keep him.
No idea, keep him.
No idea. Keep him.
Great game against, was it? I can't remember who it was against, but I thought he played really well when he came in. I thought he was slipped in quite nicely.
Okay, Destiny Udogie.
But keep for me, but teach him to get his head up when he's running with the ball and to play a pass, because but he's great. But he also needs to concentrate. But he's young, that'll come.
I think he'd be better when he gets a left-hand player who he's playing with relentlessly, who we all agree. I think he's probably better when Son plays there on the left, because
Yeah,
okay,
probably
the first difficult emotionally one.
And we need better backup for him as well.
We absolutely need better backup. I think, which is why we're going to come to on the next one. Probably the first emotional tug at the heartstrings, Ben Davies. I'm sorry, Ben. Bye.
Agreed.
I just think we need a better left-sided centre-back, and I think we need a better left-sided inverted wing-back, whatever position you want to call Udogie. I don't think he's brilliant for either position, and
I love Ben Davies, but I don't think he's the right fit anymore.
We're talking about a title-winning team. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Title-winning teams.
He sort of falls into the sort of Højbjerg bracket a little bit for me, as well. Like he'll go there, he will play traditionally, and he will be great. But against a big team like Arsenal, I don't think Udogie would have let Saka come in so easily on the inside for his goal yesterday.
First game, I think Udogie play really well against Saka in the first game.
He did, yeah. And he was on a yellow card, I think, for most of the game.
From first 5 minutes, yeah. Okay, Pedro Porro. Keep, get rid.
Keep.
I'm keeping.
He's very good.
He needs to get better. Yeah.
But I wish he needs to work on his crosses.
He needs to get them in earlier.
Well, he needs to get them in early. He needs to get them in flatter. These looping crosses just don't worry anybody. And he needs to try more first time ones. But he's a good player. He's still really young. Yeah. He's really surpassed all my expectations this season.
I think he keeps taking a touch, and it gives everybody a chance to set themselves in defence.
Exactly. There's that touch.
Just needs to go boom, get it in. Yeah. Whip it in.
There's one thing about these wing backs. Sorry, guys. It's just that because there is no competition for them. I know that Ange wants a solid defense, but if there was just someone just up his arse, just a little bit, I think that it would switch people on and just engineer those stakes for Udogie and for Porro. That I think that we are lacking.
Yeah.
I understand we're looking at an Italian left wing back. I think he plays for. I have no idea who he plays for. But apparently he's very, very similar in style to Udogie, so that would be reasonable. And he's going to be about 20 million, I think, is the word on the street. Okay, Emerson Royale.
Street. Sadly, I think he's got a lot of heart, but I think we can upgrade him.
But I'm sure he's the great barbecue DJ. But
plus for Emerson, I think he could do really, really well at a different team. I think he could be a superstar at an Everton or something. I think he'd play absolutely out of his socks every day. I want him to do well.
Flat back four, he'd be awesome. But that's not what we're playing.
He's got 2 years left on his contract. I think he's one of the few players we could sell that could get reasonable money.
Yeah.
So, and give us an opportunity to improve.
Didn't he have some ridiculous buyout clause from Barcelona that we managed to get around? It was just like a ridiculous buyout clause, like something like 200 million.
Oh, right.
Am I thinking that up?
Well, we did buy him from Barcelona, so maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, easy one for me. This is an easy get rid. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Anyone want to keep him?
Yeah, no, not him.
Only to put Romero in at number 6.
Not going to happen.
Okay, so Pierre stays. Another one's got 1 year left on his contract. I think he's pretty much gone anyway. Number of clubs in Italy interested in him, so wouldn't be surprised to see him go.
Make some money off him too as well.
Yeah. He's been great though. I think he's come in. I think he's done a real good job when our midfield have been all over the place in times this season.
Yeah, under Conte and under Mourinho, he was never a present.
Number one.
Really, but he's not made for this setup.
There's been some bright moments from him. There's been some very bright moments from him. You go, wow, why didn't we see that earlier in the season? But yeah, I still don't think the 90-minute game is in there. So for me, get rid. Oliver Skip.
I think. Oh well, don't make me say it.
Go on, say it, David.
Loan him out.
Loan him out. I'm good with that.
Don't get rid. It's Skippy. He's one of our own. I can see
Skippy.
what Charlie. Yeah, love him. Oh, come on.
There's pain on your face, Charlie. There is pain on your face.
Listen, guys, we have to remember that we're being challenged with creating a title-winning team here. You know, a title-winning team. You want those people like Jorginho to come in. You nick them off a club and he's done his thing. He comes in and he does it. Skippy hasn't got the experience to be that backup, I don't think, for us. So
yeah,
I think Skippy
loan him out.
I don't think we'll have Skippy next year.
I think we will keep Skippy because I think we need him for the European homegrown numbers. And that is pretty much the only reason why I think we'll keep him.
Stu, you have to ruin our...
I know. But I still think he's going to be a player who develops late. He's going to be a late bloomer. So for me, it's a keep, but he needs
so you want to keep
a loan
Ryan
would
Sessegnon?
not be a bad idea.
You want to keep Ryan Sessegnon as well, do you, Stu?
No, Ryan Sessegnon can go. Ryan Sessegnon is made of an even more brittle glass.
No, you've just made the same point.
But he's not homegrown. He's not homegrown at club.
Oh, is he not?
No.
Who isn't?
Sure. Ryan Sessegnon joined at 19. Okay. So he's homegrown in nation, not homegrown at club.
But it's not the same subject.
We need 5 players.
Sessegnon's not reliable enough.
It's not the same thing.
So I mean, there is talk. Get this: there is talk of Kyle Walker-Peters coming back because he is both homegrown at club and homegrown at nation. So there you go, everybody. That would be a fun backup.
It's a great championship
Pedro
player.
Porro. Okay, Pap Matassar, keep every day of the week.
Yeah,
definitely.
Superstar. Just needs to go to the gym. Him and Vicario need to be gym buddies.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yves Bissouma.
Keep.
I think he's the one. He's the one that falls between two stools for me. Like he was amazing against Manchester United at the start of the year, and I think this sort of goes towards this whole thing with Ange. I think Ange has said, "Play. I'll take the shit for you at the end of the game if we lose a goal because of your mistake or whatever." Like, I think the pressure is cranked up on people to play the way Ange wants to play. I think Yves Bissouma is the biggest casualty of the added pressure to play Ange ball. He's not the same player as he was against Manchester United at the start of the season. Great player, like a Dembele style player. He's not
absolutely.
If we could get,
I'd keep the Yves Bissouma from the first 10 matches, but I'd get
if we could get that guy, if we could get him for an entire season, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind. But right now, being ultra harsh, I'm in the sell camp. I'll be honest,
because his mentality isn't there.
Because mentality.
It has to be mentality. You either let Postecoglou raise you up, or you know what's happened with Bissouma is sad.
Anyone else got anything to say on Yves Bissouma?
No. I'd just like to add that I think it's his second season with us, isn't it? And I find the return, like 10 good matches across now 2 seasons, is pretty shit.
One season very, very disrupted by injuries, to be fair. Okay, moving on. Rodrigo Bentancur. Keep. Anyone going to sell Rodrigo Bentancur? No. Okay, probably this one probably is the easiest sell of anyone. Ryan Sessegnon.
Sell. I'm answering for Charlie here. Move him into the number 6 position and playing him in midfield.
Play him left inside wing. I have no idea. No, he's got to go.
It's a shame he couldn't hear that.
No one. He might be able to, but who knows? Okay, Ryan Sessegnon, go. James Maddison.
Okay, this is a good one because Charlie brought it up, and then somebody else mentioned this on the CADS page, and also I never watched him at Leicester, so I don't know. First of all, is he? I think Stu might have mentioned. Did you say he's kind of always a bit of a crock? That's one, and two, he's just not. He's been playing pans, and he's not being the fulcrum that we need. So is he the type of guy? Maybe he'd have to play better than he has this season.
I think if we're looking to build a title-winning side, he has been in a title-winning side. He has actually won the Premier League.
He wasn't a starter, though, right? But somebody was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, absolutely, he was a starter. He's one of the main reasons they won it. He was instrumental there. But for me, it's a keep, but it's also if we can bring in some competition for him and push him, and have someone there to play in that position when he's not fully fit, then that is the ideal thing for me. Giovanni Lo Celso.
Just before. Well, actually, he'll go with the same thing.
Go ahead, say it.
So for Maddison, keep, but get a really good backup or turn him into the backup. And that goes to Gio Lo Celso, which is get rid, massively upgrade.
What about, and this is just for Charlie, playing Maddison in the number 6 position?
You were offline there, Charlie, and
I'm sorry. No, I heard most of it.
You paid for it so dearly.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm negotiating, spending the rest of this call with you guys, with my friend here. But Maddison, as you know, for me is like I honestly don't think he's championship winning quality. If he is, he's a backup. I think he'd be happy as a backup to a very, very good number 10.
Yeah, that's why if we can get someone in significantly better, then keep him as a backup. But yeah, Giovanni Lo Celso, anyone want to keep him, or should we just sell him?
Sell, and that's where we'll upgrade. That's where we get the player in that is going to push Maddison into the subs bench.
Okay,
I agree. Yeah, absolutely, David.
Right, David, get ready. Heung-min Son.
Sell.
Austin, did you just say sell?
I did.
Yeah.
He's not going, guys. He's not going. He's Spurs till he dies.
He's not going.
Didn't ask what will happen. I'm just saying what I think should happen.
I'm with David.
I can't see him going. I wouldn't want him to go. He's got to stay for me.
Guys, someone who has to go.
Stuart,
I'm so sorry about
this.
I
love the guy.
Gutted.
But yesterday,
you got to go.
So many times.
Charlie, thanks for coming. Next time, bud. All right. Okay. Yes, Austin, you were saying.
I just said I love the guy, but yesterday had so many opportunities to attack players, and every single time he turned back and he played the ball back. He didn't take a player on, as I recall, in the whole game.
Significantly better when he went to left wing, in my opinion, and I think that's where he needs to be played. But again, we've been saying for several weeks, several months now that we need a number 9. So I don't think that's changed. Manor Solomon.
Ashley didn't answer.
Ash, come on.
All right, so if we need another number 9, and it may not be Richie, that's another guy, then if you're putting Sonny out on the left, shouldn't we have a better left wing guy, left flank guy? We should have a better guy than Sonny out there. So Sonny, he's a striker. We all love him. He's hit the wall. I think he has hit the wall. He's never going to get better. He's been superb. He's not going to get better.
So have we got 3 sells here? 3 people saying sell. Are you saying sell?
Yeah, well.
Oh, I'm outvoted. Okay, right. Goodbye. Goodbye, Sonny.
Look, Stu, we kept Dyer too long. We kept Hugo Lloris too long. We kept another player that I had in my mind 2 seconds ago, and I can't remember anymore. Too long. I think that Sonny is just moving into that phase. He's a great player, fantastic servant, love the geezer, and clinical finisher when he gets a chance. But I just think it's the right time. Get a lot of money for him.
We probably would get some decent money. Apparently his valuation is 50 million, but that's normally conservative. Okay, Man of Solomon. Get rid.
Get rid.
Austin?
I don't know, because I don't know what he's like. He's hardly
That's
played.
the problem, isn't it? We're talking about building a side for a championship winning side here.
I suspect, I'm pretty sure we'll sell him, but I don't know what I think of him. So I'd say sell.
The problem with Manor Solomon is that we bought him as just a quick turnaround, like a fixer-upper, where we managed to like rip off Shakhtar Donetsk, to cheat them out of a proper transfer, and we thought we were going to get a good profit on him a year down the line, and now he's gone and got injured. So
hang on, what you're saying is we were looking at doing a property flip, and then we found dry rot.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Dejan Kulusevski.
Keep.
Yeah. I would be open to the right offer. I'll be honest. Brennan Johnson.
Keep.
Yeah. Keep.
Super sub.
Brian Hill.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Senor Hill. Contract until 2026. Apparently, we'll let him go for 8 million, which is half of his value. So, yeah, goodbye. Richarlison.
Sell.
Back up.
David is. He's pulling a face. He doesn't know. Ashley, what do you think?
Sell.
I'm in the sell camp. I think we can get decent money for him, and I think we can upgrade. So for me, sell. I think I might. I think I'd prefer someone almost like Solanke.
Yeah.
To someone that's focused on getting those goals.
I prefer Ivan Toney.
Yeah, well, 30. I don't see you spending big on a 30-year-old, but yeah. Timo Werner. Last one.
Get rid.
Ashley? Get rid?
You can do better.
No, I'd keep him. I think he's good.
I think it really depends on what his injury is, because he got injured yesterday. If he's got a bad injury, then we don't take the risk on him. We just say, I'm sorry, but...
I just think irrespective of the injury, I just don't think
he's been highly involved in our goals and assists this season when he's played.
I know, but I think we can do better, and I think he takes up a homegrown spot that. Yeah, I mean, sorry that he's taking up an overseas player's spot, and I just don't think it's worth it.
Okay. So there we go.
Okay, so just 2 points. Charlie just said, "Love the convo." I guess he has something to do. That's a lot of guys out. That's a lot of guys out. Revamp.
It's about half the side.
Did you put ticks on it?
Did you put not.
Ticks?
Look, just mentally going by what we were talking about there, that's about half the side gone.
Is that half the starting team? I'm not sure it is.
I would say that's 10 guys out, maybe, right? 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, but there was a lot of sort of sub and not even getting on the subs bench players in that.
That's a lot. That's a revamp. That's what Alex was saying on CADS, Alex Lang, and I said, "Well, that sounds like a revamp." He goes, "Oh, not really, just a player here, player there." I'm going, "No, that sounds like a revamp." I think we've
got 12 players. 12 players. We said sell, but that's 3 goalkeepers included. So
that's half the squad. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's 3 goalkeepers. It's Sessegnon, it's Gio, it's Hill, Solomon. I mean, so not very many of the actual starters.
So starters, we said Werner, who has been a starter recently. Richarlison, Heung-min Son, James Maddison was on the bubble. Yves Bissouma on the bubble. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, we said sell.
Not a starter.
Emerson Royale.
Not a starter.
Not a starter.
No, but they were.
At real risk.
But they're not starters. They're not starters.
But they were.
Vicario was not unanimously backed by everybody either. So there is, Going by that, if we're saying we're putting together a title-winning side, and if we're absolutely not sure about these people, then they got to go. We've still got a lot of work to do. So maybe, just maybe, yesterday's result wasn't as bad as we thought it might have been.
I don't think that's what we were saying from the beginning anyway. Did much better. It was better than I was expecting, and I thought we played well. I thought, there's stuff that we can work on, and it could be worked on. It's a crying shame, to be honest.
Can I ask what you guys think? This is a step up for Ange. I think we all really like him. Do you think he's really up for the task? And part of that up for the task meanings, I think, like in all of us in our life, can we be flexible to change, adapt our principles? Do you think he's able to do that?
He's shown an ability to do it before, for me. He's shown it during his time starting out in Australia. He's evolved his side during the time in Australia, and then he evolved again when he went to Japan, and then he changed a little bit again when he went to Celtic. So he's shown the ability to adapt. He's shown the ability to change his game a little bit. He's not so wedded to a system as people seem to believe. Perhaps we need to put it out to a vote. We've said buy, sell, just generally get rid of squad players. What about Ange?
Keep.
Well, I would put an addendum on that. Is like, I think none of us would say get rid of him after one season, but do we give him 2 seasons?
Yeah.
And I mean, if it's like as Dave said, since their first 10 games, we're actually under 500 now. But anyway, since those first 10 games, we would be 10th place now.
I will kick you off this stream if you talk about 500 teams again.
I said that specifically. So what? 10th place since the start of the year. All right. So we give him 1 year, 2 years. What if we're like that next season? Let's hope not. But what if we're kind of fair to middling the next season? Do we go, okay? Or do we say,
what? He's got a 3-year
plan?
Has he got a 3-year contract or a 4-year contract?
Depends what we see. It depends what we see. If we see the right trajectory, if we see the right things happening, if I'm enjoying the football, then there's a lot of different things that come into it. But managers get fired, and it's not only on results that they get fired. It's also about the dressing room harmony. I mean, when the players turn against the manager, then they have to go. When the manager turns against the club, as happened with our last manager,
yes, Tordo,
they have to go. So there's lots of things that could happen. If it's only on results, but it can't only be on results. It has to be on the overall vibe of the club, the way we're playing. I don't ever want to go back to the Mourinho and Conte stuff where I just absolutely hate watching us, irrespective of the result. It got to the point with Mourinho and Conte where more or less I didn't want to watch the matches anymore. I'll just check the result in the paper the next day. Showing my age.
No, I didn't get up for the games either. Same thing. Didn't get up for the games. But in the last 6 games, last 10, some of the games, entertainment. That's another thing. Do they excite us? Are they right? They did. They're not really doing it right now. And you know what? What's going to happen in 5 games? Is our season? Here's a question: is our season going to peter out? Because it could.
Yes, it is.
Could.
Let's be honest. In our next 5 games, we've got 3 very, very difficult teams. I mean, Liverpool are clearly struggling at the moment, so we've got a chance there. Chelsea are a side that are beatable, but Man City could be a very, very difficult game and we could get pummeled.
So it could peter out this season,
The season's over. It's just, are we going to cling on to 5th place?
Right. Yeah, I think that's where we are. Do we think we're going to get 4th? Not at this point.
No.
Which is a bit of a disappointment. As long as we stay above Man United, I'm kind of happy.
There's another thing about Ange, just like before we move on, has to do better in the cups.
Yeah.
That putting out a reserve side against Fulham in the Mickey Mouse Cup was not acceptable. Not acceptable.
But then our full team got beaten by Fulham in the Premier League.
True. But not, at that point we were actually playing well, and he put out, and not good enough in the FA Cup. So that's another consideration about keep or get rid. He gets a pass this season. He won't get a pass next season.
All right. So okay. So that means like, yeah, we look at him after 2 seasons, and then we look at, right.
He's never been at a club longer than 3 years. So I mean, there's already a limited time period in there anyway. So I mean, for me, give him the 3 years. I think if he's got a 3-year contract, give him 3 years and see how he does. I think he's got that strength of personality, that strength of character, where if he can get everyone behind him, and if we back him in the transfer market, which is a big if we bring in the players with the right mentality, then we could suddenly start to see this side do things.
So you're saying in 2 years' time, it's the end of the Ange era?
Yeah, it could well be.
Yeah, and so probably the beginning of the Ryan Mason era.
Yeah,
no, I think we'll probably be going for someone like the Ipswich manager, but yeah, we'll see.
Mason.
Ryan Mason with Ben Davies as one of the assistant coaches. Oh, he's working. There was a great article about him.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
he's a smart fellow, savvy fellow, and he's got the certification, and he's a dyed-in-the-wool Spurs guy. So him as well.
Okay.
What's that?
No, nothing. It was stupid comment.
Yeah, but good point though. Yeah, Ryan Mason in the wings.
Okay, so next game.
Ryan Mason, he's a very, very bright guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like him to be our manager one day if he's good enough, of course. But it's my dream.
I was somewhat impressed by him at the end of last season. I thought he galvanised the side and got us playing some reasonable football in a very difficult situation. Would I want him to be given the full manager's job at that point? No, not really. But I probably would have grinned and bared it, and I would have been happier than having Antonio Conte as manager. So, yeah.
Did everybody see that Harry Winks got promoted back to the Premier League?
Yes, I did. Yep. So that'll bring in some extra money because there was guaranteed to be a performance-related bonus
Definitely,
in there.
Yeah. I'm very happy for him too.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see him back.
I'm happy for Harry because he played really, really well, and I thought he was unlucky with us.
He was unlucky to get injured, like when he was really breaking through, and I don't think he ever got over it. And I don't think he'll ever be like at the level that he could have been at. But
if you remember the games against Real Madrid in the Champions League,
and Barcelona,
Winks absolutely dominated both games. He was brilliant.
Yeah, and Dele Alli was playing too.
Yeah.
Dele Alli, who's of course out of contract in the summer. I hope he finds somewhere good. I hope he lands on his feet and gets playing again. He's still talking about playing at the next World Cup, but good luck to him.
I think he needs to drop a division, doesn't he?
Or come here.
I don't think it's the right place for him, sadly. I love everybody loves him. But I think if he could drop down a division, go and play for like a promotion chasing decent team for a season. If you go to Wrexham.
Yeah, there you go. Good idea, mate.
Yeah.
He needs to go somewhere that will let him do nutmegs because his form dropped off at exactly the same time that he stopped nutmegging people. So
it also dropped off when he started popping pills.
Well, probably that as well, yeah. So.
Yeah, sleeping pill addiction didn't do him any favours at all.
No. But he's I'd say I don't know if you saw the video where everyone was wishing Sonny congratulations for his passing a recent milestone. He looked he looked very healthy there. It was really heartening to see him looking quite so good. So,
Sonny, who are we talking about?
Dele
Alli.
Oh, Dele. I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that. Yeah.
Okay.
You look good.
Yeah. All right. Next game is on Thursday night against Chelsea. I will not be watching because I'm actually going to be out that night. I'm having a rare night out. So I'm going to be looking for a guest host to take over.
I'm going to Concal tomorrow on vacation for a week.
Oh, very nice. So I will take a step back and I will just be a panel member, and somebody else can lead the conversation and talk about the game because I'm not going to see it. So we'll find someone for then.
What if we do a double one after the Liverpool game?
We could well do that. Maybe we don't do one on Friday, but we'll see. Right. All right, everybody, keep your eyes on the socials and we'll let everybody know. Going to have a little jingle to play us out now, but again, thank you everybody for joining us, and as always, come on you Spurs.
Stu, thanks very much.
Anytime. Bye everyone.
Cheers. Have a good evening. Cheers, David. Cheers, Ash.
Cheers.
Sorry you've gone, Charlie.